Hi everyone, I'm going to be reading chapter 25, Haunted by Ghosts. The sound of Ben's scream echoed through the length of the pipe. He whacked the rat off of his head and it landed on top of Granny, who was crawling up the pipe just behind him. Poor little rat, she said. Be gentle with it, dear. But he was here first. Now come on, we have to hurry up. The sleeping tonic cake I gave the guards will be wearing off very soon. The pair crawled further up the pipe. It was wet and slippery and it smelled awful. Unfortunately for Ben and Granny, it turns out that ancient poo does still pong. After a while, Ben could see the shaft of the grey and all the black. It was the end of the tunnel at last. He hauled himself out of the ancient stone privy and then reached down the pipe to help his Granny clamber out. They were covered from head to toe in disgusting, stinky black slime. Standing inside the cold, dark toilet, Ben spied glass to the window in the wall. They clambered through this and landed on the cold, wet grass of the tower's courtyard below. For a few moments they lay there, gazing up at the moon and stars. Ben reached out and held Granny's hand. She squeezed it tight. "This is amazing," said Ben. "Come on, dear," she whispered. "Barely started yet." Ben stood up and helped Granny to her feet. The old lady immediately started unwrapping cling film that she'd waterproofed her handbag with. This took several minutes. I think I may have overdone the cling film. Still, better safe than sorry. Eventually the mile-long roll of cling film was off, and Granny took out a map that Ben had cut out of a book in the school library, so the two unlikely thieves could locate the jewel house. It was eerie being inside the Tower of London courtyard at night. The tower is said to be haunted by the ghosts of people who died there. Over the years, several guards have run away in terror, claiming that in the dead of the night they'd seen the ghosts of various historical figures who died there. Now, though, there was something even stranger roaming round in the courtyard. Granny in a wetsuit. "This way," hissed Granny. Ben followed her down a walled passage. Ben's heart was beating so fast he thought he was going to explode. After a few minutes they were standing outside the jewel house overlooking Tower Green and the monument to those who were beheaded or hanged there. Ben wondered if he and Granny would be executed if they were caught stealing the crown jewels, and a shiver ran down his spine. Two beefeaters were lying on the ground snoring loudly. Their immaculate red and black uniforms, emblazoned with ER, were becoming soiled on the wet ground. Granny's herbal sleeping tonic and the chocolate cake had worked. But for how long? As she hurried past them, Granny let out a familiar quacking sound from her bum. One of the guards' nose crinkled at the smell. There's a picture of the guards. See them sleeping? What's Granny doing? And that's Granny in her wetsuit. Ben held his breath, not because of the smell, but because he was afraid. Was Granny's bottom burp going to wake up the guard and ruin everything? An eternal moment passed. Then the guard opened one eye. "Oh no!" Granny pushed Ben back and raised her handbag as if to clobber the beefeater with it. "This is it," thought Ben. "We'll be hanged." But the guard closed his eyes again and continued snoring. "Granny, please try to control your bottom," hissed Ben. "I didn't do a thing," hissed Granny innocently. "It must have been you." They tiptoed to the huge steel door at the front of the jewel house. "Right, I just need your dad's power drill," said Granny, reaching inside her handbag. With a juddering whir, she started drilling through the series of locks on the door. One by one, the metal locks crumbled to the ground, and all of a sudden, the guard snored extremely loudly. Ben froze and nearly dropped the power drill. But the guard slept on, and after a few nerve-wracking minutes, the door was finally unlocked. Granny looked exhausted. Sweat was dripping down her forehead. She sat down on a low wall for a moment and then pulled out a thermos flask. "Cabbage soup?" she offered. "No, thank you," Granny, Ben replied. He shifted uneasily. "We better get going before the guards wake up." "Rush, rush, rush. That's all you kids do these days. Patience is a virtue." She poured the last of her cabbage soup down her throat and rose to her feet. "Delicious. Right, let's do this," she said. The huge steel door creaked as it opened, and Ben and Granny entered the jewel house. Out of the dark came a flurry of black feathers hitting Ben and Granny in the face. Ben was so startled he screamed again. "Shh!" said Granny. "What were they?" said Ben, as he saw the winged creatures disappear into the black of the sky. "Bats? No, dear. Ravens. There's dozens of them here. Ravens have lived in the tower for hundreds of years." "This place is spooky," said Ben. His stomach was knotted in fear. "Especially at night," agreed Granny. "Now, stay close to me, boy, because it's about to get a whole lot spookier." That was the end of that chapter. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I wonder what spookiness is going to come up next. Thanks for listening. Bye.